Welcome to The Bluegrass Story, the podcast that takes you on a captivating journey behind the mic with the most talented and influential artists in the world of bluegrass music. In each episode, we dive deep into the lives and careers of bluegrass musicians, exploring the stories that shaped their artistry and the passion that fuels their love for this timeless genre. Now, here's your host, Don Mack.
Well, hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Bluegrass Story. I'm your host, Don Mack, and today we have a true legend in the world of bluegrass music joining us, none other than Mr. Dave Adkins. Dave has been a prominent figure in the bluegrass scene for years, captivating audiences with his soulful vocals and impeccable musicianship. He's a singer-songwriter whose talent knows no bounds, and today we are privileged to have him as our special guest. Not only will we be delving deep into Dave's incredible career, exploring the highs and lows that have shaped him as an artist, but we'll also be getting an exclusive sneak peek into his latest masterpiece, the brand new single, Bad Moon Rising. Dave's going to share his backstory of how he chose the song as his debut release on Billy Blue Records. And that's not all. We'll be catching up with him about all the latest happenings in his world, from upcoming projects to exciting collaborations. You won't want to miss a single moment of this insightful interview. So sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on a musical journey through the life and artistry of Dave Adkins.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hey, Don, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been such a long time since I've got to sit down and talk with you. I'm so glad to get to catch up with you.
Oh, I know. It has been a minute or two, hasn't it? And so this is going to be great. Gosh, we got so much to talk about, and we've got to talk about, you've had so many exciting things happening, and we're going to get to that, and I'm sure the fans are dying to know, so it's a really good time for you, and I'm just so excited for everything that's going on in the world of bluegrass for Dave Adkins.
Well, thank you so much. You know, I'm excited too. It's kind of like one of those things, when everything gets to really rolling, you know, somewhere there's a wheel going to fall off. So I kind of just keep bracing myself and, you know, and keep saying, all right, you know, with all the good, there comes bad. But man, so far we've just been blessed beyond belief.
Your whole career has really been that, in my opinion, just watching all the many successes that you've had. But before we launch into, you know, how you got to where you are today, I think it would be really cool to kind of get a little bit of the backstory about your journey into the world of bluegrass music and what inspired you to become a bluegrass artist.
Well, you know, my dad loved bluegrass, and my family was really, how do I put this? They liked what they liked, and they didn't like much else. So when, it was just so weird. When you'd get in a vehicle with my dad, it was the Stanley Brothers or Roy Acuff, or Boxcar Willie. That was his three go-tos. But he loved bluegrass. So I got a real good dose of that with him. And then with my mom, it was the Statler Brothers. That's all she listened to. She loved the Statler Brothers. So anytime that me and my mom, and we did a lot of stuff together, you know, we would listen to that or country music radio, but Statler Brothers mostly. And then with my grandpa, I got Bob Seger and blues, and that's where I really learned to sing. Is by the time I was 11, I knew probably every Bob Seger song ever written. And but you know, bluegrass was always so just intriguing to me, and how that, you know, you could take five people, and when it's right, it sounds like just one big, huge instrument. And I always loved the heart and the soul and the feel of it. And when I was 8 years old, I begged and pleaded, and my grandmother and grandfather and my mom and dad, they all went in. They got me a little Yamaha FG 335 guitar, and I had an uncle that he was a left-handed fiddler, but man, he was great, and banjo player, just really talented. And he taught me 3 chords, and then he passed away from a sudden heart attack. And I just kind of kept working with those 3 chords and trying to figure out different stuff. And me and Kevin Prater, my old buddy from down the road, we started playing together when we were 9, and it just kind of blossomed from there.
Gosh, and to say that it's been in your blood pretty much your whole life is probably an understatement. And 2 of the things that I have heard you described are that when people talk about Dave Adkins, they're always mentioning traditional and innovative, which have been 2 words that have often been used to describe your music. And how do you approach songwriting to keep your music fresh while still connecting with the bluegrass tradition?
I love the tradition of it. Jimmy Martin was one of my favorites, and it's everything has to breathe or it'll die. And we've got so many great classics, and there's so many just go fast songs that are standards that, you go to a jam and you can hear the same 30 songs pretty much in each jam. You know what I mean? And I love that. But I also, there has to be new life. And so I try to remember the traditional side of it. And so when I write, I just try to add my flair on the, and I try to tell when I'm writing a song, I try to think, now, would Jimmy Martin like this? What would Ralph say about this? And there've been a few times I'm like, yeah, I don't think they'd like it, but I'm going to keep it. But there's other times that I think they might be kind of proud of it. But I mean, the tradition is I love traditional bluegrass. It's just my favorite. Even though I don't sing that way, I still love it.
Well, it's just the heart of bluegrass anyway, but because of that, bluegrass kind of has taken on a life of its own. It's got so many limbs to the tree, so to speak, and so many artists have been able to really show their creativity and originality just by using that as kind of the foundation and then building from there. And like you say, if you don't build on it, it will die. And it's just amazing how creative this genre is in particular.
It is. And there's so many talented folks that are just great players and great singers. And I've got 3 20-year-olds. One's 26 and the other 2 is 22 that are traveling with me full time, and I swear, I tell them all the time they make me sick because they're so good at so many instruments and singing. But it also tickles me because I know that I'm getting up there in age, and I know one of these days when I leave here, it's going to be in good hands, and I hope a lot of other people see it that way.
And I love the fact that as the genre grows, that more and more young people are gravitating towards it above any other type of music out there, which is really cool to see all the growth in that respect.
It is. And, one of the things that I love about bluegrass and I mean, you go to a country concert or a rock concert, you go in, they come out on stage, they play, they leave. You don't get a meet and greet. You don't get to have a chance to buy a T-shirt from them or have them sign it. And one of the things that I love about this music is we are accessible to anybody that wants to talk to us. And and sometimes people will stand in line just to tell you something bad, but that's okay. I mean, they got a chance to do it. But I love that about our music, and I think it entices, I have a lot of folks that will go to a festival for the first time, and they'll come up to the table and they'll be like, well, this is our first festival. And I'm like, oh, well, bless your heart. It's like potato chips. You can't just have one.
That's right.
So we'll see you at another one. And we always do. I mean, and one turns into five. And, you know, it's one of those musics. If you give it a chance with an open heart and an open mind, and you go watch a live festival, you will fall in love with this music. And if you don't, then, you know, you got a power greater than what I know. But I just think that anybody that gives it a real chance will love it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm living proof of that, Dave, because I got hooked on bluegrass by attending my very first bluegrass festival way back in the day. And that's all it took. It was like the potato chip story. You know, I couldn't just go to one. It was amazing because unlike going to a rock concert or other type of concerts, you know, the bells and whistles don't exist. It's just sheer talent. And you see those artists get up there and singing, playing, performing, and it's genuine. And, you know, they might have some sound emphasis, but so natural. And I was just so blown away by the natural talent, and I was hooked from that point forward. So I would imagine that resonates with a lot of folks who, when they went to their first bluegrass festival, they knew it wasn't going to be their last.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you're absolutely right. And let's see, when I was 17, we went and played Dollywood for 3 years, and we was one of the bluegrass bands at the park. And after that, you know, I got into country music, and I did pretty good with it. And I still love country music, the older stuff. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the newer stuff. I really love Luke Combs. I think he's great. But you know, I tell a lot of my friends, you know, when they say, what's the difference between country music and bluegrass? And I tell them, well, go to a live country show, but tell them they can't use anything except their instruments and the mics and a PA. They can't have voice tuners and reverb effects and lights and fog. And, you know, and I said, see how good you like it then, and then, you know, tell me. And
right.
That's what I tell everybody, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, as you know, bluegrass has a strong emphasis on storytelling. And could you share a little bit about your songwriting process and how do you craft stories through your music?
You know, I love to write, and I listen. I love talking to people, and I listen to everything that folks tell me, and there'll be times that somebody will use a phrase that I've never heard said that way. And, you know, the way that I look at songwriting is, for one, some of your greatest philosophers say, if you have a troubled mind, write it down on paper and read it back to you, and it'll help ease it. And writing is therapy for me. You know, if I'm happy, I write about it. If I'm sad, I write about it. And there's a lot. I mean, I've got notebooks here full of stuff that nobody will ever see because it's just for me. But every once in a while I'll get lucky and you know, but I've heard it said over and over and over, okay, they've been 5 million songs about love. Now go write one and say it like nobody else has. So when somebody says a phrase that I've never heard before or put a new spin on something, I carry a little tape recorder and one of those little pocket deals, and I use it a lot that I'll say stuff into, or I always got a notebook with me pretty handy, and you know, I jot a lot of stuff down and go from that. But I love getting ideas from other folks.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, you never know where your inspiration is going to be drawn from. And so it sounds like you're always prepared for that unique moment that you don't expect, but could be the makings of a great bluegrass song, you know. Now, one of the things that has always been a standout feature, I think, for you is your vocals. And how do you maintain your vocal prowess and keep your performances so emotionally charged because, I mean, I've seen you perform live, and it's so electrifying. And that takes a lot of energy,
well, thank
by
you.
the
Bless
way.
your heart.
it takes a lot of
I
energy.
appreciate it.
But you're a phenomenal vocalist and just performer, and the crowd, it really resonates with the crowd. So what is your secret? How do you keep all of that in check while still being able to deliver time after time after time?
Well, you know, I practice every day. I practice a lot, and you know, thank you so much for saying that. Such kind words, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Honest to goodness, Jimmy Martin, when we were 13, we were at this big festival, and we were hanging out. And then, you know, back when I was 12 and 13, you would have Ralph Stanley, Bill Monroe, Jimmy Martin. You know, you had all these huge bluegrass acts, and they did a big circuit together, and they played all these festivals together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we were hanging out with Jimmy Martin one night, and everybody else had either went back to their hotel or they were, you know, on their bus and locked in, and Jimmy was out there hanging out, and you know, he was just having the best time, and I kind of leaned over and I said, you know, Mr. Martin, don't you want to go hide like everybody else? And he was like, I'm going to tell you a little advice, son. He said, as long as people are wanting to get to you, you be accessible. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, you seem like a pretty good boy. He said, you ain't got too bad a voice to be a young'un. He said, but I tell you, he said, when you get on stage, he said, don't play at the people. He said, play with them. He said, he said, make them a part of your show. And he said, every time you get up there, it could be your last. And I've honestly, I've lived by that all my life. Every time I get on stage, you know, when I tell my band, I'm like, you know, these folks, there's a lot of hard-working folks that spend money that they really don't have extra to come to festivals and see our bands, and that just means the world to me. And you know, I just don't want anybody to ever say they left our show and, well, you know, he just wasn't on tonight, or he just wasn't putting 100% into it, because you know, to me, I hope I never let nobody down. You know what I mean? And after my cancer deal in April, it's even so much more now. You know, it's just every time I get to be on stage, it's special. And you know, the songs that we do, they resonate with me, and you know, to be emotional singer, it's kind of like being an actor, but you got to put yourself in that situation every time, no matter how many times you do it. You know, you just got to put yourself in that moment, because if somebody's hearing, like, I can't even walk, that's that, and I Can Only Imagine are two of my most requested songs of all time. And if somebody's there in the crowd and they're hearing it for the first time, do I want them to hear a half-hearted version, or do I want them to hear, you know, do I want them to be touched the way I was the first time I heard it? You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I try to remember that.
And what incredible advice to get from Jimmy Martin. I mean, what a legendary icon. And that just resonated with you to the point that you just carried that with you throughout your life. And let me tell you, Dave, it has served you well. You took it to heart, and you've applied it. And every show you give 110%. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Well, thank you so much.
I mean, you're a tremendous artist, and which kind of moves me to say congratulations on signing with Billy Blue Records. That's huge. And
thank you.
Oh
I'm
my
so
gosh!
excited.
I know. When I saw it, the news break, I was so excited for you, because this is long overdue. By the way, I mean, I just think partnering with them, it's just going to be a really good time for you. And you've always had a tremendous career, but I think this is going to take it to a whole new level, working with Jerry and those folks over there. And by the way, also a second congratulations for your new debut single on Billy Blue Records, Bad Moon Rising. And I have to say, when I learned that was going to be the premiere cut with the new label, I was so excited, because I thought if anybody can pull that off as a bluegrass song, it will be Dave Adkins. And so I was thrilled when I found out that was going to be the first release.
Well, thank you so much. So you got to be honest. What did you think about it?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I loved it, first of all. And mind you, I love the original. Creedence Clearwater Revival, I mean, they're so iconic in their own right. But time and again, when any bluegrass artist decides to cover a song from yesterday and give it the bluegrass touch, there's no compare. I think the bluegrass versions are always better than the original. I love the original. So I love the song, Dave. I think it was a great choice for your debut release with Billy Blue, and it's generating so much buzz. And I'm just curious, how did you determine that this would be the lead-off single, and what made you choose an iconic Creedence Clearwater Revival song?
Well, I always loved CCR. They were just one of my favorite rock bands, and John Fogerty's just such a monster writer, and so I love their stuff. But honestly, and I got to tell the truth. 30 years ago, we were doing a festival with Curly Ray Klein's son, Timmy Klein, and Timmy's a great singer. Which he got out of music and started driving a truck. But 30 years ago, he did Bad Moon Rising, and he did it pretty much the way that I do it now. But I was like, oh my gosh, that is great. And I've always thought that was great. And when I left Mountain Fever, and I started talking to Jerry and to see if they were interested, and after we talked a few times, and I got to work with Jerry, before, and we got that Grammy nomination for the Gonna Sing, Gonna Shout project, and I loved working with Jerry, and I was just so thrilled that they agreed to take me on. And I said, Jerry, here's my idea, but we got to do it at 180 beats per minute. So it's going to be horribly fast, but I think it's going to be great. And he loved it. And so when we went in and we cut 5 songs, and really I love each song, but every time that I'd let, a family member or a really, really close friend, and I say, okay, what do you think? As soon as, as they listen to everything, let's go back and hear that Bad Moon one more time. And I was like, okay. And it just felt so good that, me and Jerry and Ed all decided that was going to be the one we go with. And I haven't, and it's been a long time since I've had this much excitement about a single. I've got so many, it's been out less than 2 weeks, and I've got so many messages from DJs that's like, man, this is where it's at. This is real bluegrass, and it's a great cover, and that just warms my heart. I'm so tickled. So I'm so glad you like it, and I hope I picked the right one. Me too.
Well, anytime I can hear a bluegrass song that is a cover of a song that I grew up listening to and loved, and then you put your own personal spin on it, that thing is smoking, Dave. I was like, wow. I couldn't believe how fast it was, but it just really showcases like your musical talent, the band's musical talent. Playing it at that speed is no joke. I mean, my gosh, it's so impressive. So you did a great job on it. I was like, this thing is going to take off, literally and figuratively. But yeah, I expect it's going to climb the charts real quick.
Well, thank you. I hope so. We're awful proud of it, and I had a DJ message me a couple of nights ago, and he said, "Thanks a lot. I just got pulled listening to your song," and I thought, "I'm sorry." And he said,
"Yeah,
he said, man, I was into that thing," and he said, I looked up and there was blue lights behind me, and he said, I was flying, and he said, I hope I'm going to be able to use that for an excuse. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he messaged me back, and he said, well, they got a good laugh out of it. And he said, I was going in to program my radio show, and he said, so he only got a warning, so I was tickled. But, that's the kind of thing you want. You want something to move people. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but, man, I can't listen to it without tapping my foot. It's just that kind of a song.
That's right. You aren't going to be still when you listen to it, that's for sure. Well, before we wrap up, I want to do a fun little 5-question lightning round for our listeners who may not know these things about Dave Adkins, which is nothing crazy. It's just basic stuff, but it's fun stuff. Okay. So the first question is, what is your dream collaboration?
My dream collaboration, Del McCoury for one. Mm. He is just the man. I don't know if our voices would sound good together, but Del McCoury is just, he's so amazing. And to be 83?
Yeah.
And to still blow your face off with the G-Run, that's my dream collab. And Marty Stewart. I would love to do something with Marty Stewart. Whether it ever gets to happen, but that's. I'm sorry. I know you said one, but I had to throw two.
You can't. It's like Lay's. You can't have just one, right? And look, you just tell Jerry to get on that because and make that happen. Like, I would love to see both of those collaborations. Honestly, I think they would be great. All right. The second question: what's your favorite food?
Oh my gosh, my favorite food. You're going to get a kick out of this. My favorite food is cornbread.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I like cornbread, and I grew up in the South. I'm born and raised in North Carolina, so big staple for me is cornbread and buttermilk. So that grosses a lot of people out, but you fry those fritters and tear them up, put them in the glass of buttermilk. Man, it's nothing like it. So I can identify.
I do the sweet milk. I do the sweet milk and bread,
either way.
But, I love cornbread. I just love it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I could eat it with anything.
Yep. Well, it goes with everything. It's versatile, right?
That's right. And when you grew up in the South and you was poor like we was, you had cornbread a lot, so it just become a staple,
That's exactly right.
My wife, and I'm being totally honest, so my wife's probably going to whip me.
Well, okay, so this next one is going to be hard, but not hard, but you're going to say, I can't pick just one. I know it because I couldn't pick just one. So what's your favorite song or your favorite movie? Either or both, whatever.
Wow, that is a good one. Favorite song, Hollywood Nights is one of my all-time favorite songs. Bob Seger, that was one of my grandpa's favorites. That and, this is horrible. My favorite movie is a comedy. That's John C. Reilly, Walk Hard. Don't let your kids watch it. It's a little rough at times, but oh my gosh, that is one of the funniest movies. Like it, me and Ralph Stanley, too. Every time we see each other, we'll throw lines from that movie. It's the Dewey Cox story. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you need to watch it.
I will make a point to do that. I've never seen it, but I've heard it's just hilarious. So I will. That's on the list. I'll add it to the list. All right. The next one is your favorite holiday or your favorite season of the year.
Well, you know, I'm not a big fan of winter, but I love spring and fall. You know, I love summers because bluegrass festivals, but I'm a big fisherman, and you know, spring and fall, the bass start coming to the top of the water, and that, I mean, they're always fun, but that's when it's real fun. But that's I love to see the leaves come in, and then I love to see them change colors and go away, and it's you know, it's a lot to be said about the seasons, and I find a lot of spirituality in things like that, and so you know, fall and spring is my. Sorry, I couldn't just have one. I had to have two.
That's okay. There are no wrong answers. And the last one, but not least, do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
Wow. I you know, I have to say both. Where I live in the mountains, we live up on the side of a mountain. We live up a holler on the side of a mountain, and it's just so beautiful here. It's we live on the Appalachian Trail, and it's just so gorgeous. But you know, okay, so a couple of weeks ago, an 85-year-old veteran, he was in the Army, and Don, I don't like to call people fans. I think a fan is something to keep you cool. If you come to a show and you buy a ticket to see us, and you take the time to come over and talk to us and you know, support our music, then you're a friend, and that's what I call them. But I had this 85-year-old friend send me a message the other day and say, tell me what one of your favorite scenes is. And I said, as far as to look at it, and he said, yeah. And I said, well, I love to look at a beach. And we just got in the mail last night. He hand painted me a beach scene of two chairs sitting on the beach looking at the water with this beautiful tree beside of it, and it's hanging in my living room. It meant so much to me.
Oh, wow.
I was blew away. I'll send you a picture of it. You will not believe how good this thing is. It is gorgeous.
Oh, wow. That's special.
It's amazing. I mean, it's, you know, for him to take the time to do that at his age, I promise, I'll send you a picture. You won't believe how good it is.
Well, I would love to see it. I mean, that is just, you know, it's one thing to have friends come out and support you and what you're doing all over the country, by the way, but then to go an extra mile and to just ask you something like that, and then one day you open your mail and there it is, and that is incredibly special. And every time you look at that, you'll think of him, you know.
Absolutely, and you know, these folks, they tell me all the time that I mean a lot to them, but I don't think they ever know just how much they mean to me, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it is amazing what you're able to do and how what you're doing with music and with bluegrass resonates with so many, and it's really a great way that you connect with your friends / fans, but in a sense, I mean, I think music has a special way of bringing people together like nothing else can, and with what you are contributing to the bluegrass genre is just, I think, incredible. It's testament to your entire career and all the success you've had, and so I have a good feeling that with being with Billy Blue, you're going to just, we haven't seen the last of Dave Adkins. There's so much more to come that we have yet to see, and I'm very excited about that for you.
Well, thank you so much, and you know, I believe that with all my heart and soul, and you know, Jerry is he's so good at what he does, and he produces so well, and you know, that's him singing the harmony on Bad Moon Rising. And he just blew it out of the water. And you know, I can't wait for you to hear. And I'm pretty sure we've got the next 5 songs picked out, but I can't wait for you to hear this record when it's done. I mean, it's just, I'm so proud of it for what we got done so far. But and thank you again for such kind words. And you know, I just hope I keep making the kind of music that can make folks remember a happy memory or a loved one, or you know, make them think about Jesus. I mean, because you know, I mean, music really, it's. I don't know where I would be without music. If we didn't have music, I don't know. I don't know how people would get through stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's such a release.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'm very, very excited to see what this album is going to hold. And I know all the listeners out there and all of your fans are they're waiting, you know, they're just on the edge of their seat. Because if it's anything like your past, your past really precedes you, and in terms of your talent and just the type of artist that you are. So I know that this next project is going to be super, super exciting. And do you have kind of an idea in mind when it's going to be released in full? Or are you going to release singles along the way? Or
yeah,
and if you can't say it's okay.
No, I'm pretty sure we're looking at doing a couple more songs, you know, between now and winter. And I think maybe before the end of March, I think we may get the full record out. I think that's what we're shooting for. So I just can't wait, man. I'm so excited.
Oh.
And thank you so much for having me on. It's so good to talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And we just look forward to everything that you've got coming up. And please let us know how we can support you. We'll be happy to do it any way that we can.
Well, you are amazing, and I hope we can do this again after the record comes out, because I want to see what you think about it.
Absolutely. Plan on it. Plan on it.
I'm going to hold you to that.
We will see you out on the road, and be safe out there and have a blast.
Thank you so much, and God bless you. And, you know, I love you, and thank you for everything you do for our music. It's so appreciated.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. And God bless you as well, and your band. And we'll be looking for more releases to come in short order.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care, Dave.
You too.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Bluegrass Story, a production of BluegrassPlanetRadio.com. We hope you've enjoyed this insightful journey into the world of bluegrass music and its captivating stories. Remember, you can tune in to The Bluegrass Story anytime, on demand, on all major streaming platforms. Keep the bluegrass spirit alive, and thank you for joining us.